Hello, everyone. This is day number 7. And today we're looking at the narcissistic personality disorder. The narcissistic personality disorder. So invite your friends. Let's get started. Narcissistic personality disorder. I want to make sure that you've all been following me and knowing and through this 10-day journey, and that we are right here at the same time. All right. So Facebook, we're on. You should be live. You should be live. Facebook, are you? Let's see, YouTube. You live? All right. Excellent. So we're going to go live now. We're on TikTok. Narcissistic personality disorder. There's so much you've heard about this. Narcissistic personality disorder. Today's the day we're having this conversation. Narcissistic personality disorder. Hello, everyone. Day number 7. Day number 7 of we're talking about personality disorders. Today's day number 7, making sure that we are all together and that you've been following me. Thank you for those of you who have DM'd us. Hopefully, I'll see you again at the healing clinic. So today we want to talk about narcissistic personality disorder. This is the one that you hear so much about. People say, oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, she's a narcissist. Oh my God, narcissist. What is it? So we want to look at it. Some people walk through life with such confidence. It's so sharp. They seem like they have it together. And we're going to talk about the difference between the narcissist and the histrionic, because it seems like they're the same, but they're not, right? The narcissist speaks with confidence. They speak with certainty. They seem to have it all together. They show no fear. They show everything is fine. But a simple comment will crack them. A simple comment that is out of order, that's out of line, will shift everything. That is behind the confidence, behind the smoking mirror, behind this brilliant mind is the fear. It's the fear. So today we're going to step into the room of this narcissist, right? The armored mirror is what we're calling it. And at the end of the day, we'll see what's fueling this personality. What's fueling this personality? So let's talk about it. Narcissistic personality disorder. So imagine we've been using the metaphor of a room. So imagine you step into this great room, like you step into this room and there's a giant mirror on one side. You see all the impression, just impressive images, and it looks as if everything is fine. It has all of the beauty that surrounds the room, right? And that's what it looks like for the narcissist. When you take a closer look at the wall, though, you start seeing the cracks, right? The armor blocks everything. It doesn't show weakness, but there are cracks in the mirror. Behind that mirror is a small door. And that small door leads to a quiet place where doubt, self-deprecation, fear resides. Narcissistic personality disorder. The person rarely opens that door. They don't want to talk about it, but the door is there. The mirror reflects power. Narcissism reflects power. The armor is to protect themselves, but the door is hiding the shame, is hiding the fear, is hiding the low self-esteem. And the way I've been talking about personality disorders the past 7 days is to show the humanity, because a lot of the times we talk about how how horrible this person is, and how this is, and how bad they are, and how ugly they, their behaviors. But I want us to see them through the prism of of fear, through the prism of protection. They're trying to protect themselves. That's what this is all about. So when we're talking about the NPD, it's virtually built on the pattern of, or on three pillars. On three pillars. Number one is grandiosity, where everything is grandiosity, and there's a need for admiration. They need you to admire them. They need you to see that they're on top. They need you to see that they're the, they're the best in the room. And the third one is just a lack of empathy. A lack of empathy. It's as if there is nothing, that there's no way for them to make a connection. This is not the same as confidence. We're not talking of somebody who is confident. So I'm not talking to you if you're just confident. That's not what this is. We're talking about somebody whose need for admiration, whose need for grandiosity is also attached to the lack of empathy. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So you can see how that combination is pretty toxic, right? It is not, and we're not talking about self-love. We're not talking about, no, we're not talking about you loving yourself and you being confident. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about an unstable sense of self, an unstable self-worth, and you depend on recognition to feel regulated or to stay regulated. If there's no recognition, if there's no admiration, then you become disturbed. If the recognition fades, then the door starts to open. The door to shame, the door to I'm not enough, the door to low self-esteem becomes real. Now, the narcissist is a very successful leader. The narcissist is a successful leader. They're going to lead their teams at work. This person is going to give bold presentations. They expect high praise. They expect you to love everything that they do, and they don't take feedback well. They don't take feedback well. If you suggest anything minor at work, it's maybe you can tweak this, or maybe you can look at it this way. They literally feel attacked. They feel attacked as if you are shaking that mirror. You are opening that door to something that they don't want to see. So anytime you talk about limitations, or it feels as if they need something to improve on something, they will leave the room. They might become very aggressive. They're going to blame the team. Nothing is ever their fault. It's always somebody else's fault. There's anger, but underneath that anger is fear that he is nothing, or she's nothing, or they are nothing. And when that fear is present, then that emotional shift can drag them to a place that they do not want to be. And if you're dating someone who is a narcissist is a very charming partner. They will, love all the attention. They want to attention grab from you. They want to be the center of your world. They want all the compliments, and they don't give anything in return. If you tell them you need space, they will completely pull away from you and withdraw from you. They don't care about the other person. They just care about the other person attending to their needs. Does that make sense? If you're attending to my needs, if you're feeding me, if you are making sure that I get all of the accolades that I deserve, then we're okay. But if that happens, shame rush, if that doesn't happen, then shame rushes in, and immediately there's going to be consequences. It's either they get angry, it's either they blame you, or they will completely disconnect from you. That's the life of in a relationship. Borderline person, I mean, narcissistic personality. Sometimes you have the quiet narcissist. Not all narcissists are loud. There's some quiet one. They might not show or display arrogance, but they will stay, but they will be withdrawn. They can stay withdrawn, but still hold the belief that they are the alpha, that they are the best, and they are misunderstood, and that they are the ones that have all the answers. And if somebody questions them, like if you dare to even have an opinion, they will become very cold and you will be cut off. All right. And you will be cut off. So when we're talking about the narcissistic personality disorder, we want to, I just want to make sure that it's not always the people who are loud and in front that you're thinking about. There are also some quiet ones, but the narcissism is still there. So even though the mirror is silent, the armor is still there. That armor is still hiding that door of shame. That armor is still hiding the door of I'm not enough, and the door of performance, and the door of inner shame. It's still there. And that they are nobody unless they are taking from you. They are displaying their brilliance, and they are above all. They're above all. So when you look at, because yesterday we talked about the histrionic personality, and when we talk about the histrionic, this person also loves the spotlight. The histrionic loves the spotlight. Both disorders fall under the cluster B that we're looking at. This is the passionate cluster. This is the cluster that displays all of the grandiosity, right? But histrionic wants emotional closeness. From yesterday, they are in the spotlight, and it's inside the spotlight is where they find their safety. They want to be close to people inside the spotlight. They express emotions. The histrionic will express emotions, right? And once they are in the spotlight, they forget fear. They want to be close to you. They want to be emotional. The narcissist, on the other side, on the other hand, they want you to admire them. They want you to admire them, but they don't want to be connected to you, if that makes sense. They want you to admire them. They want to they want to protect themselves from emotions, and they don't want to feel. There's no empathy, right? And when they have fear, the fear exposes that they're not enough, and so they don't want to feel that. So while the histrionic is in the spotlight, and they've learned that in the spotlight is where they get the love, is where they get the admiration, is where they're getting all the affirmations. The narcissist, on the other hand, lacks this connectivity. They do not want to be connected. They don't know how to be connected. Does that make sense? So basically, the narcissist uses distance and superiority to stay safe. They need the distance from you. They need to feel superior in order for them to be safe. The histrionic, like we talked about yesterday, the spotlight is what connects them to you. The narcissist needs the spotlight to stay superior to you. So the emotional tone of NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, is control, is pride, is guarded. That's the emotional tone. The emotional tone of the histrionic we talked about is more open, it's more accepting, it's more colorful. So you get the difference. So even though it sounds like the same, because yesterday we're talking about spotlight, they love the spotlight. The same thing. The NPD loves the spotlight, but they want the spotlight so they can be above, so they can be superior, so they can be distant from you. And like all the other personality disorders, there is a reason for this. There are reasons for this. We can trace it down, back to exposure. The narcissistic patterns often begin in childhood. This is where they all start. They start in childhood, where the child is valued for performance. The child is valued for performance. They're only valued for their achievement or their image, rather than emotional reassurance, emotional presence. So they now have imbibed this whole idea that I am not valuable unless I am performing. So some children, grow up needing to be to be special, to get special attention. Others have learned that this is the only way I can be loved. This is the only way people can see me. And when they make mistakes and you punish them and you shame them, they have learned that they're not enough. They're not enough. Some children are just told that they are exceptional. You are exceptional. You are so exceptional, but there is no emotional connection. They tell them that you are all be all. There's nobody like you. I'm not talking about developing a child's self-esteem, but it's when you're telling them how exceptional they are, but there is no emotionality. There's no emotional connection. There's no I love yous. There's no there is no nurture. There's no nurture. Honestly, we can trace all the wars in the world. We can trace a lot of them to these personalities. That's another conversation. That's another conversation. Others might feel just that they're invisible unless they impress others. Nobody's going to see me unless I impress them. So the environment that these children grew up in taught them that you only matter when you're impressive. You only matter when you're impressive. So what does that teach you about human beings? What does that say to a child about humanity? That everything is about value, and the value is what you do, not who you are. Not who you are. What do you bring to the table? So when the mirror becomes the way they stay safe, then the armor becomes the only way to push the shame away, to avoid the shame, because the shame is there. Nobody has ever said you are valuable, not because of what you've done, not because of all your achievements, not because you are the captain of the football team, not because you got a 4.5, not because you got a first class, not because all of these things that we put in our children's lives, but because you are mine, but because you are valuable, because you're my child. You see what I'm saying? So it usually starts in childhood. That's where it starts. And then it becomes a pattern in life. So let's look at some myths versus facts about the narcissist. Let's look at some myths and the facts. And let's know where you're watching us from, okay? So let's look at the myth. Myth number one. Oh my God, the narcissist is in love with themselves. They love themselves. Ooh. That's a myth. The narcissist is not in love with themselves. The narcissist's self-love is very fragile. It's very fragile. The surface is confidence, but the core is very unstable. They don't love themselves. Their self-image is pretty damaged and sometimes very disconnected. So no, they're not in love with themselves. They are pretty much trying to show that they don't need you, so you don't see them. Number two, they cannot feel empathy. It's not that they cannot feel empathy, it's that empathy is blocked. Empathy has been blocked because they've never experienced it. They've never learned how to express it. And it sometimes feels very threatening because they haven't learned how to handle emotions. Because if I can actually feel, then I have to actually work through the shame. I have to actually work through the self-loathing. So it's not so much that they cannot feel, they don't have empathy, it's that they haven't learned how to. Another myth number three, they always want control. The narcissist wants control. All right. The control, that's not the full story. That's what it looks like, but not the full story. The control is a shield. It hides their dependence. It hides their rejection. It hides that they're not enough. It hides everything they're feeling and don't want to tell you. Myth number four, they cannot change. The narcissist cannot change. The fact is, anybody can change. A narcissist can change with insight. A narcissist can change with stability. The narcissist can change with honest reflection. A narcissist can change if they decide to get help. They need to get into the door of shame. They need to get into the door of fear. They need to get into the door of self-loathing and work through that and understand that even though your caregiver did not mirror all of those things to you, even though your caregiver did not affirm you, did not nurture you, that is never too late. That's the beauty of the brain's of the brain's plasticity. It's constantly changing. We can change those neural pathways. Neurons that fire together will wire together. So we can begin to create new ones. Does this make sense? Myth number five, they enjoy hurting people. They enjoy hurting people. Wow. The fact is, they will hurt you, but it comes from them trying to protect themselves, not from cruelty. Do you see the difference? The narcissist doesn't wake up and say, oh, how can I hurt this person today? How can I cause harm today? That's not where it's coming from. That's not what is fueling their actions. What is fueling their actions is, let me protect myself. Let me protect the mirror. Let me protect the image. Because people are cruel. People will hurt me. Does that make sense? So the NPD, narcissistic personality, would live in the tension between admiration and shame. Can you imagine if that's where you inhabit constantly? Your life is usually between admiration and shame. It's going to impact everything that you do. It's going to impact your world. It's going to impact your friendships. It's going to impact your relationship. It's going to impact everything. It's going to drive the people that you love away, or you will break them. The narcissist is very sensitive. They're sensitive to limits. Okay, anytime there are any limits, anytime there are regulations, laws, they are very sensitive to limits. They don't want to be limited because they feel like they're bigger than life, larger than life, right? And they have strong reactions to criticisms. It might just be something very, very minor, and they will look as if they're overreacting. There's nothing like overreacting in the school of trauma. We don't overreact. You just don't know what they're reacting to. but they have very strong reactions to criticism. You know, their biggest fear is fear of being ordinary. They do not want to be normal. They do not want to be ordinary. The narcissist is very envious. They envy other people. They envy you for your money. They envy you for everything. They envy you for your degrees. They envy you for anything that they don't have that it seems like you have. The narcissist is envious. They're envious, and they will not say it. They're just envious. They're envious of whatever they think you have that should belong to them, that they should have. You know, like that should be me. That should be me. They will envy you for your girlfriend. They'll envy you, your spouse, your wife. They'll envy your car. They envy everything. They envy your job. They are envious, especially if they feel like they are so much better than you. The narcissist feels, I'm so much better than you. Why do you have that stuff and I don't have it? And which is why they will do everything to get stuff so they can show like they're the top, you know, they're the alpha, like I said. They will do everything. They will steal. They will cut corners just so they can get whatever it is that they think that they deserve. This feeling that they deserve something. is that feeling. I deserve this. And anger is very familiar to the narcissist. Anger is their go-to emotion. All right. When their ego is been injured in any kind of way, the next thing is anger. They get so angry. On a scale of 1 to 10, there might be a 20. They get so angry, they get so upset. Everything just seems as if it's disappeared into that anger. They don't see anything but weakness. They don't see anything but the shame. And they do not like that you're witnessing it. So that even gets them more angry. Yeah, is this making sense? The other thing is, if you're in a relationship with somebody like this, or you work with somebody like this, or you're like this, you might be able to relate to this. Once the admiration stops, if you're no longer being admired, if your spouse is not telling you how great you are, or your partner is not telling you how awesome you are, and you're this and you're that, and once they don't do that to you, or stop feeding your ego, the next thing is emptiness. The narcissist feels empty to the point where they want to die, to the point where they want to take their own lives, or they start doing very drastic things to fill that emptiness. Another central theme for the NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, is that they have difficulty admitting their mistakes. It's very difficult for the narcissist to tell you they're wrong. It's very difficult for the narcissist to tell you that they're sorry. It's very difficult for a narcissist to own up to anything that they've done. In fact, they will blame you. The narcissist will turn it around and say it's your fault. They will concoct all kinds of stories to make sure that you think that you are in the wrong. Mind games, gaslighting, trademarks of narcissists. It's very difficult for them. They're going to defend their error. They're going to defend everything they do. They will dismiss you. They will dismiss you. They will show superiority, or they will withdraw from you. So those three things are going to happen. These are defense mechanisms. Number one is I'm going to show that I'm superior, or I'm just going to dismiss you. Just dismissal. Look at you as if you're less than. They look at you as if you don't matter. Or they'll just completely remove themselves. They'll completely remove themselves. So imagine living like this, or imagine living with someone who is a narcissist. And especially women, I'm talking to you now. You know, you always try to think that you can change people. You can't change anybody unless they want to change. All right. You can't change anybody unless they want to change. And if you're male and you are with someone who is a narcissist, Your love isn't enough. Love isn't enough to cure personality disorders. Love isn't enough to cure the narcissistic personality disorder. The narcissist has to want to get help. We need to focus. They need to be able to say, I am ready to get help. They need to understand what identity looks like. They need to understand that you're not your performance. They need to understand that you're not superior than anybody. That when in this humanity, we're all interconnected. I need you, you need me. So there are therapies that can help, there are approaches that can help, but you need the narcissist needs to, they need to want the help. If you don't get the help, it's going to be difficult having a relationship with someone like this. And when you get your healing as a narcissist, it doesn't mean that you're no longer confident. You're going to still be confident, but it removes the armor. It removes the shame. It removes the self-doubt. It removes all of that stuff so you can see your own real worth, that you are worthy just because you exist. You're worthy. Do you understand? That you don't constantly have to be superior or to perform before you're accepted. So now, after the end of the 10 days for this personality disorders, we're holding a healing circle. So if you want to be a part of that healing circle, make sure that you type in the word join healing. All right, join healing, so we can send you the link to the healing circle, right? The narcissist just simply wants to protect themselves from being exposed. They're hiding a lot. They're hiding their shame. They're hiding their fear. They're hiding their low self-esteem. If this resonates with you or someone that you love, all right, then make sure that they're part of that healing circle. A healing circle after the 10 days. We will give you the link, right? So cluster B is going to be ending tomorrow. All right. Well, so we're going to take a look at, this is day 7 tomorrow. So this is day 7. Tomorrow it's going to be day number 8. All right. We've looked at borderline personality. We've looked at borderline personality. This is when love feels like warmth and in 1 minute, and then the next minute is just devastating. That's borderline. They're so unstable in their emotions, but it's a very emotional disorder. Then we looked at the narcissist. The narcissist has a confidence that is all a mask. Right? Shame is the secret they're trying to hide. The confidence is the mask and shame is the secret. We have the histrionic that we looked at yesterday. They're not just dramatic. They're not dramatic. They're just trying to be seen because they think that if they're seen, then they are loved and then they're safe. Right? And then we have the antisocial, which we did a few days ago. When the antisocial, empathy is missing and power becomes protection. The empathy is missing, but the power becomes the protection. Right? And so when these disorders are not about chaos, they're not about chaos, they're about emotional survival. They're about surviving. That's what I want us to know. I want us to balance this whole myth of personality disorders, all the myths about the beliefs about personality disorders, that they're just bad people, they're just this, so that's a narcissist, that's borderline, that's this. It's about survival. It's about emotional survival. All right. And all of them have trauma roots. They're all rooted in trauma. They didn't just wake up this way. Something in their developmental years shaped this pattern. That's what happened. So we need to ask, what happened to you? What happened? What happened? And of course, we also know that it's going to forever impact relationship. It's very difficult for someone with personality disorder to have a stable, intimate relationship. It's very difficult. It's not personal, it's a defense mechanism. It's a defense mechanism. If any of this feels familiar to you, then make sure you join the healing circle. The healing circle is the time where we're all going to come together and we are going to walk. It's not therapy. The healing circle is not therapy. It's coaching. We're going to talk about this emotional wounds. Some of you might need to see therapists, but let's talk. Let's get you some help. All right, let's get you some help. Each of these disorders is you're protecting yourself from something. You know, the antisocial protects with power. The borderline protects with intensity. The histrionic protects with their expression. The narcissist protects themselves with superiority. It's all there. You understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you're probably tired of constantly protecting yourself. You're tired of protecting yourself. So join the link. And tomorrow, we're going to start the last cluster, cluster C. This is a very anxious cluster. And so make sure you stay tuned when we talk tomorrow, when we start the cluster C. So meanwhile, we've looked at 7. We've looked at 7 personalities. I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to join the healing circle and leave your comments. Let's know what you want us to talk about next, okay? After personality disorders, what else would you like to see in these lectures? All right. I wish you well. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. All right. No. Someday I'm going to learn how to bend this. Yes. Here you go. And for those of Okay, I'm not sure what happened, but we're ending the program. Thank you, everyone on Facebook. It kind of just locked me out of it. I hope that you've enjoyed every single moment today. Oh, I see some of your comments. I'm just seeing some of these comments now. Okay. Somebody said that means with them, it will be difficult to, let's see what this says. Help them. And yeah, I mean, we had this conversation. It's somebody has to want to be helped, you know. Somebody has to want to be helped, and once they need to be helped, then you can help them. But one thing I want you to know, that if you're living with someone like this, please don't kill yourself. Like, honestly, do not think that you can love them enough, like you can change them enough. It doesn't work that way. You need to have boundaries, and we'll talk about this at the healing circle. You need to have boundaries. You need to make sure that you know what your own boundaries are, because if not, you'll be engulfed into the shame, into the fear, into all of the protective mechanisms that they have. All right, I wish you well. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll start cluster C tomorrow. Bye.